Hi, this is Dr. Thomas. I want to show you how to write equations of lines, and the first thing you need to know is the point-slope formula. This is a formula you need to memorize. It's y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. The reason why you need to know this point-slope formula is because this is sort of like the template, and all you're doing to get your equation, your final equation, is plugging in a point and a slope. So once you plug in a point and a slope, then you have that y you need, you have your x you need, and you're just replacing this y sub 1, m, and x sub 1 with a number, and you have your equation. Okay, so just reiterating what I just said, once you have these two things, you can write your equation of a line. Your point is x sub 1, y sub 1, and your slope is always represented by the letter m. Let's do an example. It says write the equation of the line that goes through the point 2, negative 3 and has a slope of 4. The point is 2, negative 3. The slope is 4. So we have everything we need. All we need now is the point-slope formula, and all we're going to do is plug in the y value, the slope, and the x value to get y plus 3 equals 4 times x minus 2. So what I'm going to do is probably slow this down and show you where the y plus 3 equals 4 times x minus 2 comes from. So again, we have our point-slope formula right here. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. And we know that the point up here, this is x sub 1. The 2 is x sub 1. And the negative 3 is y sub 1. So all we're doing is plugging in the point x sub 1, y sub 1, and 2 are x sub 1, y sub 1 in our formula. And our slope, since the letter m always represents the slope, we will replace the m with the 4. So we'll have y minus y sub 1. Remember that y sub 1 is negative 3. You have equal, m is 4, x minus x sub 1 here is 2. Now, that y minus a negative 3 will give us the y plus 3 here. And we have the 4 times x minus 2. Working it out. So we have the point negative 4, 6, and the slope 3/2. Again, we need the point slope formula. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. All we need to do is plug in that negative 4, 6 for x sub 1 and y sub 1, and plug in that 3/2 for our m. That's all you're doing essentially. For this particular problem, I'm going to show you how to put this in slope-intercept form. So to put this in slope-intercept form, and put this over here. What is slope-intercept form? Now there are at least 3 formulas you need to know by test time, and all of them contain the word slope. So it's very important that you recognize the differences in each formula, and you know when you should use each formula. So here the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That's basically when y is on one side by itself. And we want to get this y minus 6 equals 3/2 times x plus 4 in this form. So we basically need to get y by itself. Now normally in this format, I will go ahead and multiply, what we call distribute, 3/2 times x plus 4. And we will get y minus 6 equals 3/2 x. And if you multiply 3/2 times 4, you will get 12 over 2, which is 6. Then, to get y by itself here, I will just add the 6 to both sides. Negative 6 plus 6 cancels. And we have y equals 3/2 x plus 12. This is slope-intercept form. You're done. Let's say it says write the equation of the line that goes through the points 6, -4, and 2, 8. Now again, you're asked to write the equation of the line. Therefore, you need the point-slope formula. So we have 2 points here. We can find the slope given these 2 points by using the slope formula. And we only need one of these points to put in the point-slope formula. So notice here that you have m equals 8 minus a -4 over 2 minus 6. You get 12 over the -4, which is -3. And the green box here represents the point 6 and -4 that you can plug in, and the pink box represents the point 28 that you can plug in. It turns out it does not matter which point you use, you'll actually get the same answer. And let's here, if you just multiply, let's put it in slope-intercept form. You get y plus 4 equals -3x plus 18. Subtract the 4, you get y equals -3x plus 14. Over here, you'll get y minus 8 equals -3x plus 6, and you add the 8 to both sides, and you get y equals -3x plus 14 again. So look, it doesn't matter which point you use, you get the same answer. So far we have discussed only point-slope form. There are other forms of equations that you should be able to identify as a line and graph if necessary. And that form is standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. So in order for an equation to be in standard form, you must have one x and y on the same side. Looking at this, you have an x and a y on the same side, no fractions, and your a, which is the coefficient of your x, must be positive. For example, 3x plus 4y equals -36 is in standard form because one, x and y are on the same side, there are no fractions here, and a, which is the coefficient of x, a being 3 here, is positive. Let's write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form in standard form that goes through the point 6, 2 and has slope 2, 3. So again, all you're doing is plugging in these points into the point-slope formula. And you can go ahead and distribute. I will go ahead and distribute first. You get 2/3 x minus 2/3 times x minus 6, which is 2/3 x minus 4. And then we will add like terms. You get y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Now, this is not in standard form. What form is it in? It's in slope-intercept form, but not standard form. Therefore, in order to get it in standard form, first of all, we need our x and y on the same side. We can't have a fraction, and our coefficient for x must be positive. First thing I would do is get rid of the fractions by multiplying by the LCD. The only denominator we have is this 3 here. So what I do is multiply everything by 3, and that'll get rid of that 3 in denominator. So I multiply both sides by 3. When we multiply both sides by 3, we get 3y equals, what is 3 times 2/3? Notice that the 3's will cancel out, and you have 2x, and what's 3 times 2 here? We have a minus already, 6. Alright, now we need our x and y to be on the same side. However, we need the 2 to stay positive. We can't move the 2x on the left side. That would make it negative 2x, and we want it to be positive 2x in order for it to be in standard form. That's why I will add 6, so 6 can go on the left side, and I'll subtract 3y, so 3y can go on the right side. So let's first add 6. We will get 3y plus 6 equals 2x, and then I will subtract the 3y. We get 6 equals 2x minus 3y. Now, this equation is in standard form. Alright, I want to show you another example that deals with perpendicular and parallel line. When we're writing an equation of the line, we need to know the point-slope formula. Once we have established those three things, we can find or write an equation of a line. Therefore, let's identify what our x01 and y01 is. x01 was given to us, and y01. It is the point that the equation contains. It contains -1, -2. And is perpendicular to 2x minus y equals 6. So the only other thing we need is a slope. We get our slope from the equation that they gave us. Well, you must put this equation in slope-intercept form. Thus, you can find the slope and intercept if you put it in slope-intercept form. And we get -y equals -2x plus 6. Is this in slope-intercept form? A lot of students make the mistake and think that this is in slope-intercept form, but it's not. It's because there is a -1 attached to the y, and in order to be in slope-intercept form, y must be by itself, alone on one side. So we must get rid of the negative, either by multiplying or dividing. We have 2x minus 6. So the slope here is 2. Notice that the slope here is 2. However, our question or our problem stated we must write an equation containing the point -1, -2, but it must be perpendicular to this line. So we can't use 2. We need to use a slope that's perpendicular to 2. M equals -1/2. The reason being is that perpendicular means opposite and reciprocal, not one or the other. It means both at the same time. So what is the opposite sign of positive? It is negative. What is the reciprocal of 2 over 1? It is 1 over 2. That's why we will use M equals -1 over. Okay, we have everything we need. So let's start by placing or substituting our information. We know that this is x01 here, and this is y01. So let's replace our y01 with -2. Place the m with -1/2. And x01 with -1. So notice I placed parentheses around x01 and y01. Now I'm going to simplify some things. So we have y minus a -2, which is y plus 2. And what I'll do here is go to the inside first. It's very important that you actually do this first and not distribute first, because your signs will get mixed up. And so you make sure you do x plus 1 here first. Now let's distribute and first put it in slope-intercept form. So we have y plus 2 equals -1/2 x minus 1/2. Then we're going to subtract the 2, and we get y equals negative 1/2 x, negative 1/2 minus 2. Make sure you work this out. It should be negative 5/2. This is slope intercept form. Now what if I wanted this in standard form? Then I usually get rid of my fractions first. So I see that the denominators are 2 and 2, so my LCD is 2. I will go ahead and multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the denominator. So we get 2y equals 2 times negative 1/2, which would give us negative x because the 2's would cancel. And 2 times 5/2, the 2's would cancel again, so we just have 5. Now in order to get this equation standard form, I'll move the x to the left side because now the x has a negative in front of it, and I need the x and y to be together on one side, but I need what's in front of x to be positive. So let's add x to both sides, and we'll get x plus 2y equals negative 5. Now this is standard form because first the x and y are on the same side, no fractions, and the coefficient of x is positive. So we have x of 1, y of 1 here, and we have to find the slope here. So let's go ahead and find the slope of our equation. We have 5x plus 2y equals negative 10. To find the slope, again, we must put it in slope-intercept form. So we must subtract the 5x we get 2y equals negative 5x minus 10, and then we're going to divide by 2. Therefore, our slope is negative 5/2. However, we want to use the slope that is perpendicular to negative 5/2. So the perpendicular slope is, what do you think it is? It's 2/5. It's 2/5. Why? Because we have the opposite sign of negative. We made our slope positive, and we flipped 5 over 2 and made it 2 over 5. Now all we need is to use the point slope formula. So we have y minus, what is y sub 1 here? It is negative 1. And we have m, let's put 2/5 here. We have x minus x of 1 sub 3. To simplify, we have y minus a negative 1, which is y plus 1. And let's distribute here. We have 2/5 x minus, what is 2 times 3? 6 over 5. Now we just need to subtract the 1. We get y equals 2/5 x, what is negative 6/5 minus 1. So you need to calculate that on your own. You should know fractions by now. That is negative 11 over 5. Now this is in slope-intercept form. What if you had to put this in standard form? Well, the LCD would be 5. So we will multiply both sides by 5 if we wanted to get it in standard form. And then it would be 5y equals 2x minus 11. And then what I'll do is add the 11 on both sides. And then I'll subtract the 5y to get 11 equals 2x minus 5y, which is in standard form. Well, that concludes the video presentation on how to write an equation of a line.